Guess who's back again. Jam-Shake's back. Tell a friend. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to FCTV. What's going on? Everyone, welcome back to Jam-Shake. For most of you who saw the last episode, I shouted him out. He wasn't part of the Otaku Lounge, but he might be part of one in the future. But now we're back to our comic stuff. And, Mr. Jam-Shake,
yes,
what
sir.
comic are we covering today?
Comic movie.
Oh, comic movie. Comic movie, I'm sorry.
You freaking...
So we're on the movie grind.
We're covering...
What are we covering?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
The Wasp.
So, I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I am not a fan of Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's a hater.
I don't like Paul Rudd.
He's a day one hater, bro.
Well, not so much I don't like Paul Rudd. I don't find him as funny as everyone else finds him.
Okay.
But I will say Ant-Man and the Wasp, and everyone is shocked when I say this, Ant-Man and the Wasp has my favorite storyline in any Marvel movie that I've seen, personally. And I mean...
Favorite?
I've watched Civil War. I've watched Winter Soldier.
No.
I've watched Infinity War.
Oh, shoot.
And now Infinity War is my favorite, don't get me wrong. It's still the best movie.
Yo,
but as far as the storyline, Ant-Man just... It hit me where I wanted it to hit me. And I really liked everything about it. But
okay. I guess, like, my first thing that I'm going to say about Ant-Man is that I'm probably going to go on the record. And, like, this is probably unpopular. But for me, personally, I think this might be the funniest, like, MCU movie. Like, I laughed the most, like, more in this movie than any other movie. Like, no doubt about it.
Did you really?
Yeah, like, Michael Pena is funny.
Michael Pena. So, like, Michael Pena is, like, probably, like, the Spanish Kevin Hart. The way he just, like, I feel like he doesn't try to be funny. He just says stuff, like, and it's hilarious.
His being on the screen is, like, just him being there, showing up, is just funny to me. Like, but I guess before we dive into specifics, we should talk about, like, the main... like the overall story of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So,
the overall story of Ant-Man and the Wasp, you find out, isn't really even about Ant-Man. It's not about Scott Lang at all. It's really, if anything, about...
like, Hank Pym and Wasp.
Yeah, Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne.
And Hope Van Dyne.
Yeah, I guess Hope Van Dyne is a big part of it, too. So, it's funny, because Ant-Man and Wasp doesn't really pick up from where Ant-Man leaves off. It kind of does for... Scott Lang, maybe a little bit.
No, if anything...
But it picks up after Civil War.
Yeah, it's like where Civil War ends off.
The whole movie, I didn't see them reference Yellow Jacket even once from Ant-Man 1, any of the events from Ant-Man 1, but everything is about his actions in Civil War. Mm-hmm. And if you watch Civil War like me, you're kind of like, okay, I knew Ant-Man was going to be there, but like, why is he there? You know what I mean? Or like, how did he get there? You know, what's going on? He was kind of just popped up there in the movie at some point. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, they talk about like, you know, he stole Hank Pym's Ant-Man suit to go help Captain America, and now he's on a 2-year probation where he can't leave his house. And Ant-Man and the Wasp picks up with that because I think all the movies that happened this year, well, I guess towards the end of last year, take place 2 years after Civil War. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Well, Infinity War took place 2 years after Civil War, so yeah.
And then Ant-Man and Wasp take place like, maybe, I'd say like a day or two before the events of Infinity War happened.
During the beginning.
Right.
And like,
You feel like they take place where like Ragnarok is?
No.
Okay.
I feel like it was, well, maybe. Maybe like the events of Ant-Man and Wasp, like, coincide with that. Like, I think maybe midpoint Ant-Man and the Wasp is beginning of Infinity War.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's probably like what it's like.
I could see that for sure.
Like, that's when everything starts getting kicked into gear. But they're on the whole other side of the country in San Francisco.
Right. So a lot of the stuff they don't even peep. Yeah, they wouldn't peep until things really hit the fan.
Exactly. They're not like they're watching TV or anything like that.
Yeah, true. They have so much more to worry about in this movie.
Honestly. But Ant-Man was a very simple story. It's simpler.
It really is. It's just a rescue mission.
Yeah, it's very much just like, we got to get this. These two other groups want this as well. Who can get to it first?
Right.
It's kind of Ant-Man and the Wasp as an entire movie.
Essentially, the whole plot is Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne want to acquire this like conductor piece to finish their creation. That's going to take them into, what is the Macroverse or the Super Microverse? Or is it just the microverse?
The quantum.
The quantum verse. I'm tripping. But it's like shrinking down to like the super quantum level or whatever. Yeah. And that's where, well, the movie opens with Ant-Man and Wasp. And then you find out that it's Hank Pym and Janet when they were younger. And they're on a mission to like stop some rocket. But to get in the rocket and like, you know, nullify it, she had to go like super, super small.
Yeah, she had to go subatomic.
Yeah, and that would like cause mad, you know, issues because there's a huge chance she wouldn't be able to come back out. And truth be told,
but
Hank Pym wanted to be the one to do it, but his miniaturizer or shrinker
his
mechanism,
like controller,
it started acting up,
malfunctioning.
So she was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." And he was like, "No." But anyway, she goes to do it, and she, you know, kind of sacrifices herself to save. I can't remember exactly what the rocket was hitting.
It was gonna hit like a city.
Okay, so
I feel like it was like probably like Cold War.
Really?
Kind of thing. I don't know if that's like what it really was, but that's the vibe that I get. Like
that'd be a cool take on it. Yeah, like Russia tried to sneak a missile in there, but exactly. And we knew about it, so like Shield was like, "Hey, Hank, go fix that."
But it was better for the planet just to like act like it never happened, so that there's not like an actual war. I feel like that's the insinuation, but it's never actually confirmed. But the main villain of the movie being Ghost.
Yeah, see. And it's crazy because I feel like everyone didn't like Ghost. I really, really enjoyed Ghost. She wasn't like crazy overpowered. Yeah. She had like a translucent power where she could like phase through stuff. Yeah. And it's because she had like quantum energy. And, you know, the plot is them going to save Janet because Janet gets stuck in a quantum verse and they think she's out there. And then you have Scott Lang, who I can't remember exactly what he did.
Well, it was because... in Ant-Man 1.
Okay, yeah, so there's a reference.
He went down to the Quantumverse, but he managed to get out.
Right.
So, like...
while he was down there...
Janet like, planted, like, things into his head.
And he was having dreams about, like, Janet's dreams.
Yeah, like, he was having dreams of, like, Janet. Because in the beginning of this movie, both Hope and Hank Pym are not, like, messing with Scott. Like, he's cut.
Like I said, essentially. Not only did he steal Hank Pym's suit to go help the Avengers, but when he got arrested, he also made Hope and Hank, like, involuntary, like conspiracists.
Yeah, like, they're an accessory to his crime.
So now, like, they're being hunted for. Like, there's crazy warrants for them, and they have to, like, it's cool. Their entire base of operations is set in different locations because he can miniaturize it to, like, a little suitcase.
Yeah, his
lab. Yeah, and then he carries it around with him everywhere. So
which is cool.
The government, like, can't get a read on them because every time they think they have them, boom. Their location is just gone. Like, every piece of information they have is just, like, false because now they just kept it pushing. And anyway, they need this piece. So Hope makes a deal with some
dude,
like cartel guy.
His name, some black market tech guy.
And he has it-ins with the police, so he can get like these little, you know, really like important pieces for cheap, and then sell them on the black market because one of his men is like a crooked cop. So she goes to make a deal with him, and they're about to do the exchange. She gives him the money, and he's like, well, I want the money, and I'm going to keep this piece unless you do this or that for me. And she's like, well, I'm not doing that, so you're going to give me the money back. If you're not going to give me the piece, I'll go get it somewhere else. Boom. They go back and forth, and then he's like, well, good luck. You're just a little girl, and I got these buff-ass security guards here. And she's like, oh, okay, that's cool. So she dips. He keeps the money and the conductor. And then she's like, yeah, I got the money too. And next thing you know, little Wasp starts cracking people. She gets big cracking people. She's kicking people. She's knocking people through this and that. And she's just fucking everybody up. And there's crazy cool CGI scenes too.
And to add an interesting point, which I didn't expect, the choreography is solid.
It's actually very, very good.
It is solid.
It's a lot better than I thought it was.
Like, don't get me wrong, there's some iffy stuff like here and there, but like, it's pretty good. Yeah, like absolutely. For a movie where, don't get me wrong, like Hope's not like a kung fu master.
No, she's not.
But she's not like a brawler, like a street fighter, like Scott is.
She has technique behind her.
Yeah, she has like technique. So like, every hit felt like a hit.
Right.
And like when she was doing like her acrobatics as Wasp, like everything felt real. Mm-hmm. So I definitely appreciated that. Like, because like you said, the CG's cool. Which I like the CG in Ant-Man 1 too.
Yeah, the CG in Ant-Man 1 was really good.
It's cool how they utilized, like, it's not just, we're getting big and small. Like, how they can make other things big and tiny, like the salt shaker and that scene.
You know what I didn't know?
What?
Up until, I think one of you guys actually had to tell me this. Yellow Jacket was entirely CGI.
Yeah, he was entirely
I had no
CGI,
clue.
yeah.
I thought he had a suit and everything.
Yeah.
I thought maybe his like tendrils were CGI, but his whole thing was CGI.
Yeah, everything. And his blasters were like clone trooper.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But
yeah, so as she's fighting all these, black market guys, she gets her stuff back, and next thing you know, we're finally introduced to Ghost. And Ghost looks like a character off of like a Tom Clancy game.
Honestly,
and
like Splinter
she
Cell.
has like this weird mask. And that's like a big reveal. You find out that it's a girl. Well, not really. The trailers revealed that she was a girl. So I was like,
it's
okay.
not really like a big reveal that she's a girl. It's more the reveal of who she is and who she's working with.
Now that was crazy. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Keep that in your head. But anyway, she comes in and Hope is like, oh, okay, so you have like some enhanced guy in the field to handle, someone like Ant-Man or, if Avengers. But the black market guys have no clue who she is. She just appeared. Like, she was invisible, and then she just appeared to be visible. And then she goes to Hope, and Hope tries to hit her, and she's phasing through her and stuff because she has like quantum energy, so she can become like transparent or whatever. And she has a fight, and she ends up beating up Hope, taking the thing from her. And then right when she's about to escape, we find out that Ant-Man comes in. And then Ant-Man is helping Hope fight her. And then they're able to subdue her momentarily, get the piece. And then right when they go back to look at her, she's gone. She's just gone. And now we're like, oh, crap. Now we have some crazy, like, powerful character just randomly in here. Doesn't work with Hank. Isn't working with the black market guy. So now we're trying to figure out where, like, her motivation is coming from. So just keep a pin in that.
That also has like one of the crazier scenes where she like phases through Hank.
Yeah.
Like is like as like a threat to like give her his lab. So
when she had disappeared and they thought she was gone,
like
they're like, Hank, what's going on? And her hand, if anyone like knows about like the Flash mythos, the different Flashes can like do this thing where they vibrate their hand at like a crazy frequency and they can put it like through you. And if they solidify it, you're like
you're
dead.
impaled. It's like having a hand inside you now.
Yeah.
So,
and she sort of did that, not at the same, not the same way that those characters can do it, but she just makes herself transparent. She just
goes through
like his neck.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there stuck because like he can't like move.
Yeah, because if she comes back in,
if she just materializes, she's just in his neck now. But that is her little ploy on getting what she needed from him.
And that's kind of like the beginning of the chase.
Yeah.
At that point, like because after that, it's like, oh, where do we find her? Let's go to the guy or one of the last people we were working with. I can't remember his name. I know he was Goliath, but I can't remember the guy's
Bill Foster.
name. Bill Foster, yeah.
They go to Bill Foster now.
Bill Foster doesn't like Hank because Hank's like a douchebag in canon. Yeah.
No,
which is true. But
he absolutely is.
Yeah,
there's like a lot of issues with Hank Pym in the comics.
Hank is like a douchebag,
but you find out Bill Foster, used to work with Hank or whatever, and they do like little teases at the character Goliath, as in Bill Foster was Goliath at one point, which is really cool. I was hoping that we saw something from that, but we didn't. So that's a little sad, but he's still a very big deal in this movie, and we're about to tell you why. So they go to him because they're trying to figure out how they can access this quantum verse. And he's like, well, maybe if you switch this, and that, it might work. And then, oh, no, they're trying to track what Ghost stole.
Yeah, they're trying to, because the thing with the
and he's like, oh, I didn't put this or this in it because, it's my lab. No one's going to take my lab. And he's like, well, someone took your lab. You should try.
It was more like she passed through it.
So wait, didn't he, not have any tracker on it?
No, he did, but she bypassed the tracker. And, the point was they're trying to figure out another way to track it.
Right. And then they said if you had, an old model suit, they could, reverse the thing in the miniature, the shrinker.
They could, track that.
Right, and then
use
now at this point, they feel like they're at a loss because they're like, oh, well, we don't have any old suits because Scott previously told them that he burned the suit.
He had destroyed the Civil War suit.
The one that he stole that you see in Civil War, that they're like, oh, I destroyed it. Then when they're like, oh, well, the last suit that we could have had is just gone. Now what are we going to do? And then Scott's like, well, what if it isn't? And then he lied to him. So now they're mad even more. But luckily he kind of lied. So now they have a suit that they can reverse the stuff. And it happens to work. So now Bill Foster's, making little side eyes at Hank Pym, hey, check that out. It actually worked. And then Hank Pym's like, yeah, whatever. And they end up leaving Bill Foster. The police come to Bill Foster hey, something, Hank Pym. He's like, man, I ain't talked to Hank Pym in 30 years. That motherfucker don't like me. You think I still bangs with Hank Pym? No. But what happens after that?
After that, they track the thing, where you get the Ghost reveal.
Right.
Where Ghost takes off her mask. You see, this lady who worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. before S.H.I.E.L.D. fell. And then you get the side reveal where Bill Foster's working with Ghost.
Yeah, and that was huge for me. Because, like, Bill Foster kind of becomes, like, this, like, half villain for, like, a moment.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Because you see he's working with the villain. Because so you find out the reason Ghost can do, like, transparency and all, or not transparency, but she can become, like, she can phase through stuff, is because she was part of an accident where one of Hank Pym's old partners, like, tried to recreate what Hank Pym's creating now, but back then, and it just fails. And when it fails, it, like, blows up with this quantum energy that ends up killing her, her dad and her mom, but she survives because I think, like, the parents, like, hold her down or something like that.
Yeah. Like,
and she absorbs all this, like, quantum radiation, and now her body's, like, constantly, like, in and out of phasing. So Bill Foster finds her. S.H.I.E.L.D. makes this, like, outfit for her. They turn her into, like, a weapon.
She's like a spy now. Like,
yeah,
she's
she
like
becomes like
assassin,
Black Widow type stuff.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
And she's doing missions for them and all that. So
and then after S.H.I.E.L.D. falls, they're like, she doesn't know what to do. Bill Foster, because Bill Foster was kind of like her main, like, almost like adopted father at that point.
He pretty much takes her in. He's like, I'm gonna help you figure out how to, like, heal yourself. We're gonna do this. You know, we have Hank Pym's lab now, so we know what he's been working on. If we do this, you can absorb the life force of Janet Van Dyne into you, and that will allow you to materialize all your cells.
Yeah, and as you find out, that's why Ghost wants what they're doing is so that she can no longer phase, because the phasing hurts her.
It's actually going to kill her.
Yeah, and it's
like,
gonna.
She has like 3 weeks to live. Yeah,
she has like no
that.
time. So like it's like kind of like a race to the finish.
Right. And so you kind of like feel for her. You're like, okay, I mean, I get why you're doing it. You're gonna die if you allow this to keep going. But then it's like, when Bill Foster explains how they have to do it, it's like, wait, if there's a chance Janet Van Dyne is alive in the quantum verse, you're gonna kill her by like extracting her life force essentially.
Yeah.
So anyway, we fast forward a little bit to the point where now it's like all hands are on deck. You know, the black market guys interrogated, you know, Michael Pena, T.I., and the other guy, I don't know his name.
Daniel something, I think.
Daniel something?
Yeah, I can't remember his last name.
They're like part of the security crew that worked for Scott Lang. Or I guess Scott Lang kind of works for Michael Pena, because didn't he make him like the director of it?
Yeah, but he made him director because he couldn't be.
Yeah, because he was in freaking, he was on house arrest for 2 years.
Yeah, so he runs the business technically.
Yeah, and the black market guys go to him because they're trying to find where Scott is, and they give him like this little like medicine that's like a truth serum, but the guy's like, it's not the truth serum, and then there's like this whole back and forth. It's funny as hell. You guys have to see the movie. Yeah. It's like funny, very very funny. And then, we can't express how funny it actually is.
That's funny, and it's simply funny because of the cast.
True.
Not even like the joke, because the joke's not funny.
The joke like, is just that it's truth serum.
Yeah, but like how the cast does it, it's like, okay, like they can make it funny in that way.
But
and after that is that they capture that's when they capture Hope and Hank, right?
They captured him. They captured them a little earlier. Then they escape because of the whole ants.
Well, yeah, they escape and don't escape until Scott helps them.
No, remember the daughter calls? Because he has Scott, he has Hope, and he has Hank. And that's when you find out Bill Foster's the one behind it all. Then the phone rings and they're like letting him talk to his daughter and stuff. And then I can't remember exactly. Oh, the Altoids. He has this little box of Altoids that actually have a bunch of small ants in it that like grew really big, and they're like, you know.
Yeah, but that was in the scene with Ghost being captured. Like when they're captured by Ghost.
Yeah, but that's when Bill Foster's revealed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That happens earlier.
Yeah, but there's a scene where, remember, they're gonna just like bust out when Hank and Hope get arrested. They're just gonna bust out like through like force, and then Scott comes.
Oh, you're talking about that's when they got arrested.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, see, I thought you meant when they got captured by Bill Foster.
When they're arrested by police.
Yeah, they end up getting arrested because someone tipped off the police.
It was the dirty cop.
Yeah, the dirty cop was part of the black market guys.
The black market guy.
The black market guys interrogated Michael Pena and them, found out the location, told the cop The cop told the lead cop of the story, and then all like the police force is there.
Yeah.
They shrink down their building to try to escape because they get tipped off that the cops know where they are.
Yeah.
When they shrink it down, they're surrounded by just
and Scott
militia.
isn't with them because Scott goes back home.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be on house arrest.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, if they find him not at home, he'll go to jail for like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So it's like a big gamble for him to be at home when they get there.
But luckily for the heroes, he finds a way to make it work to where he's home when the lead investigator or the lead detective gets there. But Hank and Hope are stuck because he left them. So they're like upset that he ditched them.
Yeah.
They get arrested. They're about to try to break out after this whole back and forth with the cops. They're like, all right, I have a little like nail or paper clip in my tongue, so I'm gonna bust us out of here. But now there's no real way to bust us out of here. Then you see all these ants start coming. Like, just ants are there, and like 2 suits drop down. One is the Wasp suit onto the table, and the other is like a cop suit. Yeah, for Hank to be in disguise.
Yeah, like a janitorial suit.
Yeah, and then you find out that Scott, after he cleared himself from his house arrest check-in, he immediately went back to go help them because I think his daughter was talking to him about helping.
Yeah,
right?
I think that was a big partner conversation with Wasp.
Right.
And
so he goes and helps them. They all escape. And then it's another great chase.
That's like the final act of the movie.
That's like how the final act begins.
Yeah,
right?
like the big chase where they come up with the whole plan that Hank is going to be tiny inside the lab when the lab is tiny.
Right.
And then they're going to be doing that. And while they set up different fakes, kind of okay,
fake me out,
different plans
to tip off the police that they're here when they're really here,
and stuff like that. But, and then that's kind of final where it's okay, they get everything good, everything's worked, like they're able to go into the Quantumverse, they get the Quantumverse going, and Hank's the one who goes into Quantumverse.
Yeah, so Hank puts on this suit to help him cope with the Quantumverse, and then he goes into the Quantumverse. So they have this machine rigged in the building, right? The building that they can shrink and grow to their size, their whole lab. There's a machine in there that allows them to access the Quantumverse. Because like I said, or like we said in the beginning, the whole point of the story is to find Janet Van Dyne.
Yeah, that's the point.
So they get this inkling that she is there. She almost possesses Scott Lang at some point and helps them find where she is, so they know for sure she's alive. And Hank goes in there in this little car type machine type spaceship thing, and he shoots in there. And when he shoots in there, they shrink down the building so that they can maneuver, because they're supposed to find another spot to set up and grow back to a normal size. That way, when he's ready, he can come out at normal size. And there's a bunch of issues. The black market guys get involved, and then the cops are still involved heavy. They go to the Bay Area where things are going on at the beach, and Scott Lang has to fend off all these people while getting the suitcase back, because at some point in the movie, I can't remember exactly how it's acquired, but the black market guys get the suitcase when it shrunk down. Yeah. So he's chasing them.
It's just kind of going between people.
Yeah, Ghost gets it.
Yeah.
Scott gets it. Then it goes back to the black market. Then it goes back to Ghost, and it's just a cycle between the bunch of them.
Yeah. But by the time they do end up getting it.
Right.
And
they end up getting it back. And
Hank
then
goes into the Quantumverse.
Yeah. Well, he's already in the Quantumverse when that happens.
What?
When they're the fight for the building.
Yeah, but they need to get him back.
Yeah. I thought you meant that's when he goes into the Quantumverse.
Yeah, because he has they can go in, but he needs to be able to track where Janet is.
Right.
And that's what they're using. And then he's able to track where Janet is. He meets up with Janet, who looks really cool. I like how she looked.
Yeah, she looks she kind of reminded me of episode 7 where we first meet Ray as a scavenger.
Yeah.
She has these goggles. She has some staff
they
sword
make the
that
staff
she made
out of her wings.
Yeah,
out of her old Wasp wings, which I thought was cool.
That was really cool. So she's been surviving in this place.
Yeah, and
she's been feasting on
the quantum
micro
energy.
Creatures, which they contain micro energy and stuff like that, because they're part of that whole universe. So she's eating them. And she's acquiring all this quantum stuff. You don't see her at first. First, you see Hank walk the Quantumverse. He's experienced it for himself the first time, and he starts losing it. He's losing his mind. Then he sees this person walk up to him, and they put their hands on his head, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm about to die." But you find out it's Janet, who now has like these weird powers of like the quantum.
Like she has quantum power, yeah.
And when she touches him, she like pulls him back together.
Essentially, yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, it's this super happy reunion, you know, husband and wife finally seeing each other after like 30 years, and he thought she was dead and all that extra stuff.
We gotta roll. So
right.
like
they
get
in. We out of here.
Yeah, they leave. They're able to get everything set up so they can pull out. And then they do, and Janet and Hank make it back in, like they grow back up. They make it back to like actual normal plane, and you find out that you see more of Janet's like quantum abilities, where she straight cures Ghost.
Yeah, like Ghost is like, oh, there she is, I have to get her, and and Janet's like, wait a second, I think I can help you.
Yeah, exactly.
And she goes and then she touches her, and all like the crazy like movements that Ghost does, because like her quantum like side is like trying to pull her apart. They come back together. Exactly. And now her molecules and like cellular structure are just whole now. She's not gonna die anymore. She's cured of her quantum power. Now the only issue is that like she's now like a fugitive. Like she's on the run now.
Yeah.
And we see her and Bill Foster escape, right? And they go into this alleyway. And she's like, Bill, you need to go, because when they find me, you can't be a part of this. And he's like, I'm not leaving you. Like that's where Jam-Shake was discussing the whole father role that he gets sort of like adopted. And it's really cool because you see, Bill Foster wasn't ever truly a villain. He was just helping someone with villainous intent at first.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, look, you're cured. I got your back. I told you from the jump I would help you get cured. Now you're cured. I'm not going to leave you now. And then they had this real like sentimental hug, and then they both escaped together.
Yeah.
And that was like an escape happy ending. Then you see Scott Lang like juke the cops again. The cops know he's there, but now they like run back to his crib again to prove it. His daughter is helping like distract them, because they go up when he's not there, and they get stopped by her, and she's like, my daddy's really sick, yada yada, you don't want to go up there. And then she's like, then the cop's like, I gotta go up there, you know, your daddy's in trouble, I gotta go there. She's like, well, he's throwing up, so unless you want to throw up all on you, I wouldn't go up there. And she's like, he's like, sweetie, I'm a detective. I handled a lot more things than that. You know, I think I can handle some throw up. She's like, I don't know. It's really nasty. It's all over the place. You know, being like a little girl. It's actually adorable, kind of. And then after going back and forth with her, he's like, whatever. So he goes around her, and she's like, wait a minute. No, he's so sick. And then you find out that Scott Lang walks out of the bathroom, and he's like, what's going on? He was like, and then the cop is just like pissed, because like it's nothing but absolute confirmation at this point on TV, you know, any type of like social media you can find. Like there's Ant-Man right there, the same Ant-Man that the police know from Civil War. So like they know Scott's there, but when they go to the house, he's at the house.
He's never
so they duped him through the entire movie. And then you get the happy ending with Scott, because then his parole, no, his house arrest gets ended, and they take that off of him. So you have Ghost being cured, and now her and Bill Foster are on the run, but they escaped. So that's one happy ending. Yeah. Scott Lang is now off of his house arrest. He can see his daughter whenever he wants. The first thing they do is like go to some like, what did they do? Like go to some like amusement park together? What did they do together? I can't remember what he said that they were gonna do.
They did go. What was it? I can't remember. They meet up somewhere with her.
No, remember he goes to pick her up from her mom's personally.
Yeah, that's
to show that he's off of the house arrest.
He's off. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what they
and
did.
I think it's just like a hug after that.
Right. Yeah. It's like a hug, and then it's supposed to lead into like, now I can see my daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, it cuts to Hank's. Then it's where Hank and Janet just like go. Like I guess they go back to their old house in MM1. They shrink that, and then they just like grow it on like a beach somewhere.
Yeah, it was so tough. Like they shrunk their house down, and then they placed it in like just this like in like the end of the woods where it was nothing but like water, a beautiful little like forest, and then they were able to like live their lives now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then on top of that, Hope and Scott, along with him being off of his house arrest and having his daughter back, Hope and Scott get back together.
Yeah, they're like officially together.
Literally every character in the movie, well, every important character had a happy ending.
Yeah.
And to me, that was awesome. Like I tell people all the time, this movie had my favorite storyline. It had every single happy ending, and it's the first movie since. Jeez.
Probably.
What movie didn't kill off their villain?
Didn't kill their villain? Infinity War.
Well, yeah, it's like
they
the
didn't
first
kill him, bro. They didn't kill that boy.
It's like the first movie that, if I'm not mistaken,
Spider-Man, if you want to count Spider-Man, they didn't kill Vulture.
True. Vulture didn't get killed.
Spider-Man would be technically, I think, the last one.
Yeah. So aside from Spider-Man, it was the only MCU movie that didn't kill off their villain. So good job MCU, because me and Jam-Shake came at y'all about that in the Infinity War movie trailer the movie review. Excuse me, but
now.
Right.
I want to talk about the end credit scene.
So we have all these happy endings.
Speaking of Infinity War.
And we have all these happy endings. The movie is, it came to its conclusion.
Yeah, it's over.
Great ending. Everything's going good. Everyone's back to being cool with each other. Hank is now cool with Scott. There's no animosity really.
Yeah.
Bill Foster's good. Ghost is good. Hope is good. Janet's alive.
Yeah, and you learn that apparently Ghost and the Ant Crew, whatever you want to call them, I guess are in some sort of contact because they're actively going into the Quantumverse to gather quantum energy to use to help Ghost, as kind of medicine. So it's okay, so they're actively helping each other now.
Right. They shrink down and they turn this nozzle to this
and it just
cartridge, and it absorbs
everything.
all this quantum energy. And that's how they're in cahoots with Ghost, because they're going to help her survive.
Yeah, help her
and
stay solid.
Yeah, essentially stay just alive and not being torn apart constantly by whatever power she has. But anyway, that's how the movie ends. The movie ends with all these happy endings and everything's going good. So now we skip through some credits and we get to the post-credit scene, because every MCU movie has a post-credit scene where it's either gonna fuck you up or get you really hype. And this one is a little bit of both. So I'm gonna let Jam-Shake take the floor on this one.
You want me to take the floor?
I want you to take the floor because this has a lot to do with someone that you're heavily involved with.
So Scott goes into the Quantumverse to collect the quantum energy, like we said before, for Ghost. But Hank, Janet, and Hope are all outside to pull him back up because he can't just get back on his own.
They have to press something.
Yeah, they have to press a button to go back in. So they're in the Earth, the normal plane, while Scott.
They're on some rooftop, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on
is it the rooftop of their lab?
Probably.
Okay.
But we don't know for sure. But before they can pull the man Scott back,
they're 5.
Yeah,
4, 3,
and then
2,
nothing.
and then it just cuts.
And then you see that they were all turned to dust
from the aftermath. Oh my god!
Thanos turning out. So Scott is trapped in the quantum realm right now.
Yes.
And Hope, Hank, and Janet are gone because of Thanos. So now we're in a limbo zone where we don't know how Scott's gonna get out, and we don't know what that means for Avengers 4.
There's this movie alone made just an entire refresher of every theory you could have for Avengers.
You had to go back to the drawing board for after this movie ended, because it kind of changed the game a little bit.
It really did.
What it means.
It really did.
And I mean, there's hella theories, but
there
ain't enough time to get into that.
Yeah, we're not going to get into all the theories. We really kind of just wanted to express how we felt about about the movie to you guys. Go through a whole little run through for someone who hasn't seen it or really doesn't care to see it. I know a lot of people aren't fans of every single Marvel character.
Yeah.
For instance, it took me I think 3 years to watch Ant-Man.
And that's a shame.
And I was I don't care. I don't care about Ant-Man. I'm sorry. But when I finally watched it, I was it's okay. This movie, in my opinion, definitely better than the first one.
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt in my mind. The comedy, the storyline, the emotion, the action, the CGI, the ending. All of it is just probably one of the best MCU movies I've seen.
It was a good movie. I really enjoyed this one.
I super enjoyed it. So I recommend you all watch it.
Same here. I would recommend you watch it just for that post credit scene.
Seriously, just watch it for the post credit scene so that you can realize how fucked Scott Lang is.
He's in a bind right now, and I have no idea how he's gonna get out of it.
Yeah, but that's Ant-Man and the Wasp for you guys. I hope everything we discussed gives you guys a nice, fresh understanding of what was going on throughout the movie. We skipped a lot of small stuff just because, like I said, it's small stuff. And we didn't want a super long video just on little small details of Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's not like Infinity War or anything where every piece mattered.
Exactly.
But, so we hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe, leave any comments or questions in the comment section. Anything you want to say to us, anything you want us to do in the future, let us know. But until then, I am Snapple Grapple of the food chain, and to the right of me is
Jam-Shake.
And I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Stay hungry.